Hello all, today we're going to be discussing 2, 3 multiplying and dividing integers. In example 1, we're going to use the order of operations and our properties for multiplying and dividing integers to simplify the given expressions. So 7 minus 15 divided by 2. Now we're going to treat the numerator as a grouping symbol. We're going to have to do that first before we divide by 2. So 7 take away 15. 15 is larger than 7. We're going to subtract and keep the sign of larger, which is the 15. So 15 minus 7 is going to be 8. And we're going to keep it negative because 15 was larger in terms of absolute value. Negative 8 divided by 2. If I have a negative divided by a positive, it's going to be negative. So if I have one negative sign when I'm multiplying and dividing, it continues to be negative, or an odd number of negative signs. If there are two negative signs, it goes back to being positive or an even number of negative signs, only when you're multiplying and dividing integers. So let's look at the next example. So I have negative 1 take away another 6. They're the same sign, so we add and keep the sign. So it's going to be negative 7. And then when we have a number right beside a parentheses, it's multiplication. So 6 times a negative 7, it's one negative sign, so it's still going to be negative, negative 42. Sorry, that is a horrible 42. And in the next one, I have a negative times a negative. So there's two, or an even number of negative signs. So it goes back to being positive. Negative 3 times a negative 7 is going to be positive 21. In the next example, we are going to complete a table of solutions for the equation given below for the numbers negative 2, negative 1, 0, 1, and 2. Plot the points on the plane. So the numbers we're substituting in are going to be negative 2, negative 1, 0. 0 is always fun to put in. 1 and 2. So let's go ahead and rewrite those. 1 plus 2, and then in parentheses. Remember, when we're substituting in any number, it should be in parentheses. Negative 2 times 2, order of operations, we have to do the multiplication first. Negative 2 times 2 is going to be a negative 4. 1 plus a negative 4 is going to be negative 3. So our ordered pair is negative 2, negative 3. That's one of our solutions. Then I'm going to substitute in negative 1. 2 times a negative 1. Multiplication, 2 times a negative 1 is negative 2, plus 1, it'd be negative 1. So I have negative 1, comma, negative 1. Now 0, I told you it's going to be fun to put in here. 2 times 0, anything times 0 is 0. 0 plus 1 is 1. My ordered pair is 0, 1. Now substituting in 1 and 2, they're positives. They're easy. We can remember this from chapter 1. We can do those very quickly. 2 times 1 is 2, plus 1 is 3, so our ordered pair is 1, 3. I'm doing these quickly now. And then 2 times 2, because I'm substituting in 2, is 4, plus 1, 5. Ordered pair is 2, 5. If you did this correctly, it should be a straight line. You are graphing a line. So if we did this correctly, these points should line up straight. Negative 2, take away 3, or excuse me, negative 2, negative 3, negative 1, negative 1, 0, 1. This is looking good, guys. 1, 3, and then 2, 5. Are those in a nice row? They are, so that means we did it correctly. If you notice one of the points, if it's out of place, you should redo that point because it's probably wrong. Now we're going to connect the dots. And since it's a line goes on forever in both directions. We're going to continue and put arrows on both ends to get full credit.